You're listening to Popstar Conversations, taking you inside with your favorite musical artists.
Chuck and I are sitting here with Yoko Ono. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I must say, this year is quite a busy year for you.
Well, it's very busy. Usually I'm very busy anyway, but I didn't think that anybody can be this busy. I'm with the EMI, the EMI record company is doing an incredible tribute to John. There's going to be two boxes of John's songs, and then two CD, very special CD as well. So it's all four of them. It's fantastic. And one is called The Signature, which is what John really did as individual artist. And so it's about 8 different CDs in there. It's like a big box, And then one is called Give Me Some Truth. It's very appropriate now, isn't it? And inside there's about 4 different CDs.
In this box set, Give Me Some Truth, what song selections will it include?
Covering kind of different areas. So one is about women, because he was very much into sort of supporting women's cause. One is political, and one is about his roots. How roots doesn't mean that his childhood, roots of music. And it's beautiful. He covered all sorts of songs, people. So that's in there, etc. And it's like all different separate division of what he was interested in doing.
So basically, the box set is a reflection of John's personality.
Yeah, exactly, And then, because he had a multi-personality that way, And then there's another, so those are the 2 boxes. And then there's one very special DVD, not DVD, CD, which is the best of. It was like, the hit songs.
And those ones everybody must have by now.
I know, but also for people who just got born or something, 10 years ago or something like that. They would love to, get the best of first to get into John's music. So that's what we did. And then there's Double Fantasy stripped down, which means that the original maybe had 20 or 30 instruments for one song, but they strip a lot of instruments out of it, and so then you have maybe 3 or 4 instruments, and then you really hear what he's singing, and it's very important that. And when you do that, you'll be so surprised how good he was as a singer, because those were the days when the way you remix things was to first make sure that the instruments are very, very strong and powerful, and you bury the voice, But now, because we are taking all the taking many instruments out of it, so the voice stands out, and you'll be surprised what kind of voice he had. And you can hear all the lyrics, and it's beautiful.
And the vocals are much more powerful.
Oh, it's much more. In fact, in a way, it's more powerful than the original Double Fantasy.
John's entire catalog was remastered during the early 2000s. Why are you reissuing them again?
No, it's to do with the mastering. And we have to make sure that mastering is a very important process, And so I'm going to be going to Abbey Road Studios and make sure to supervise all the mastering.
I guess as technology advances, you'll reissue them again.
And then again. But to make it better, to make it well. And, the sounds are clearer, because now, all the technology and all that all the songs that people make, that the sounds are much clearer, and the fans are used to that. Their ears are much more sensitive now.
What do you think it would be like working with John today?
Well, he was sort of like a person with very young spirit, and I'm too. I'm sure that we would have been working together again, still, and both of us are. Well, he was a workaholic, just as I am, so we would have been working like crazy.
What do you think John's perspective would have been on the state of the affairs of the world today?
Yeah, well, I think that he probably would have been very, very upset, just as we are. We are upset about the kind of situation that is in the world now, and he would be too, and we'd be working on it.
Double Fantasy was the last record that John actually worked on, and he was obviously on a creative role. Is there any other material of his that has not been released?
He was really on the roll, yes. There are a few songs that I thought was very important to release it in a way that was released, like the one that Free as a Bird, that was recorded by the Beatles, the other Beatles. That was the right way to put that song out. And I have to always decide what would be the best for that song, this song or that song, to put it out there. Not just put it out like John was just recording on a cassette at home, but as something that could really touch people's heart.
Yoko, we all know that John was an amazing songwriter. What other talents did he have that you admired?
Well, of course, he had a great voice, and he was a great songwriter. And what else? I mean, he was a good guitarist, actually, and he was saying, nobody appreciates my guitar playing. But he showed an incredible acumen in playing guitar, especially when he did some of my works, because he could be extremely avant-garde, and he was. And of course, he was into promoting world peace. And the kind of drawings that he did is incredible. Incredible drawings that he did, because he was an artist too,
Yoko, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you again for listening to Popstar Conversations. Be sure to click the subscribe button below and hit the red bell so that you'll be notified of our next exclusive interview.
Thank you for listening to Popstar Conversations. Please join us again for another conversation with your favorite musical artist.